Welcome to the MMHP in the 989, channeling all styles and eras of Michigan music history. Recorded live inside the Rock Legends Hall of Fame in Bay City, Michigan. Featuring Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and your host, Scott Baker.
Okay, welcome everybody. We're podcasting again from the Historical Museum of Bay County, located at 321 Washington Avenue, the home of the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. And tonight our special guest is Mike Richards from the great band ADABOY. All right.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Well, Mike, you grew up in Reese, Michigan?
I did. Yep. Originally, yeah. I originally grew up in Vassar.
Oh, okay.
And then I kind of floated. My family floats between Vassar and Reese, and then
So
yeah.
did mine.
Yeah.
My dad graduated from Vassar.
Oh yeah. All my family, all the Jameses. My family is the Jameses out there in Vassar, and so my family still lives out there. But we moved to Reese, and I went to Vassar schools for a little while, and then I finished up at Reese and graduated from there. And then down the road I became the Vassar band director for about 4 or 5 years.
Wow, there you go.
Brought me
Back to the old school, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've been digging up some information, and I read that your actual introduction to performing would have been as a preteen, right? Where you performed. It must have been at a Christmas show. Yeah. I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah, I was elementary school. I feel like I was one of those kids that just wasn't scared to get up in front of people. And my music director saw that he heard that I could sing. I wasn't shy about singing in elementary school. And he gave me the lead for one of our Christmas concerts. And I sang I'll Be Home for Christmas. I believe it was during one of the wars that were going on in the early 90s. Was it Desert?
Yeah, it probably was Desert Storm.
Desert Storm, yep.
Yeah.
And so my mom, she had a solo, and she set me up with my uncle's fatigues. And it's like my mom was a seamstress of sorts, and she kind of cut it to my size.
Yeah.
And so I was up there singing I'll Be Home for Christmas, and it was the first time. I know this story, it's been told, but it's one of the first times that I saw my music made people feel something, because there were moms coming up to my mother and crying because their sons were in.
I would think that held a lot of emotional impact.
It made a huge impact on me, because I'm like, oh my God, I just sang a song with these people were having an emotional response to it. So that was really when I caught the bug. I'm like, I think this is if I can make people feel something, this is what I want to do.
That's awesome.
Were you interested in rock and roll music at that early age, or?
My mom gave us, it was more of the big band era and oldies. I grew up, with a lot of the big band, the John Philip Sousa. That was a big one.
Okay.
I probably know Chattanooga Choo Choo and all these classic, and so I have a soft heart for the classics and a lot of concert band music.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of 60s and 70s, little 80s. That's really where I grew up.
Okay.
I would not call myself a music historian, though. I'm working on it.
Yeah, but just listening to the radio and what was on the radio back in those days. Yeah.
You're still young.
Yeah. I'm a forever learner.
That's awesome. There he is.
Now, I don't know that, looking at your biography, it sounds like maybe when you were a young man, you went through some kind of tough times.
It really became my platform as an adult. So my parents, it seems to be a common story, but when parents get divorced, a lot of kids, they don't know the questions to even ask. Mm-hmm. And they start looking inward. They think, okay, what did I do? And so I had some mental illness that I went through as a young kid. Thankfully, my mother believed in this thing that seems to be non-existent nowadays called tough love. Mm-hmm. And we need to bring that back.
Okay, it worked for you, right?
Yeah, it worked for me. So thank God that my mom, loved me enough to not let me fail or, just, so I found myself in, some, the Saginaw White Pine, the Children's Mental Institution, for a little while during my 4th and 5th grade years. And then I ended up having about 8 years of counseling. I was diagnosed with a clinical breakdown. So it was, I saw some pretty dark times, and I was able to get the help that I needed to come out of it.
Did music kind of help you as well during this time, or was it more just your counselors and your mom?
I was always a drummer. Like, that was the first thing that kind of drew me, and so I was hitting things, and it became a part of my counseling, part of my therapy, to feel those vibrations through my body, and I was able to release some of the anger that I had as a young kid. But as I grew up, and I said, okay, there's a platform here. Like, the adults around me said, I could help people by telling them my story, and so even from a teenage years, I was teaching small group leaders or small groups with my mom ran, not to get sidetracked, but my mom ran a Christian camp at Elma Youth Mix. She called it the Elma Youth Mix. And so it was a bunch of Presbyterian churches that would come once, and I would be one of the small group leaders. And I was only 14 or 15 years old, and I was in a classroom of adults and kids. And so I feel like facilitating groups and sharing stories, and it's always been something that I feel like I've been doing a long time.
And that are you? And I know you're a music teacher now. Are you seeing that music is helping some of your students, maybe not exactly the same way that it helped you, but as something a positive that they can latch on to? Always hear about music being a positive addiction.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's definitely been my platform as an educator. When I was in college, I was actually a child psychology major when I first started at Delta. And usually when people go to college, you kind of decide like what you're interested in and what you're not interested in. And I decided that music was my passion, but helping kids get those answers to questions that maybe they wouldn't otherwise know. So I kind of married those two together, and that's where music education became my platform.
Wow.
And so I don't do the education side just as I feel pretty strong about it. And so I'm an intense teacher because I care, and but I'm blessed to be able to say that I've had students that really kind of bought in to me in my classroom, and I have parents come up to me and they tell me like I make an impact on their child.
Well, there's nothing more rewarding as a teacher.
Yeah, that's been my even with with ADABOY, I'm very proud of it, but those stories are my biggest accomplishments for sure.
Yeah, and I think nationwide music therapy is being generally accepted as a very, very effective way of working with people.
Yeah. For all levels.
Yeah, very definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing.
When did you start writing your first songs, Mike?
My first tunes were, I was a drummer first, and then I had this, I'm like, I have melodies inside of me. I knew that I had melodies inside me, but drums, you can only be so melodic.
Yeah.
So it was probably early 20s when I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to learn how to play guitar. Taught myself how to play guitar in the beginning. Took a class with Brad DeRoche at Delta College. Started to get the fundamentals of guitar. And so early 20s is when I first started.
Is this the beginning of what morphs into ADABOY?
It is. Yep. ADABOY was, I guess, born in about 2020. So it's been an entity for probably like 15, 16 years.
Okay.
He was kind of the generation. We had a podcast with Lauren Kranz and that Barbarossa. I think ADABOY and Barbarossa Brothers came out at the same time. Yep. You guys were the generation after me in our little thing with the time. And I remember when Andy Reid was talking about you when we first started, and you jumped in with him. But I'm getting ahead of things here. But I was just curious. You said you learned guitar. Did you learn any piano along the way too, or?
So when I was in 6th grade, I got a scholarship, like a band scholarship, to go to Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp.
Oh, wow. Our son went there.
Yeah, I loved it. I only went one year, but it was a scholarship set up for high school students. But I guess at that time the band director didn't for whatever reason, she felt the need to give it to a 6th grader. And so I was like one of the first 6th graders to get this high school music scholarship. Wow. And so I was a drummer, and so she gave me it, and I went. My mom paid for piano lessons while I was at camp. Sorry, Mom, I'm gonna let the honesty. I was much more interested in playing on free time with my friends at camp than going to the piano lessons. I started playing piano really once I got to college. I took private lessons with oh my goodness, of course, the jazz Jeff Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't. Yeah, that's embarrassing. I should know. Jeff's a good friend of mine, but I played in jazz band at Saginaw Valley with him, and I started taking about 2.5 years, so 5 semesters of piano lessons with him.
Wow.
I thought you said at one point you had played that, and a lot of people come in and say they learned piano or something before guitar, because it seemed readily available back in our days, like the older you are, and I'm like, I found it interesting that you taught yourself guitar and you moved forward from the drum perspective. So I just wonder how that worked.
Drums first, guitar, and then once I got to college, I started learning like 4-mallet marimba and vibraphone, and so that's basically a piano, but you're using mallets. But then I wanted to take it to really learn how to play piano. So it was kind of a progression.
Yeah. Well, I want to get back to ADABOY. How did you come up with the name? Is there a significance to that particular name in some way?
It has. So the mission statement of ADABOY, it's pretty cool. I like talking about this because it's evolved. In the beginning, I went to Andy Reid. I had 2 or 3 songs, ideas, and I had no band, and it was just myself. And I said, "Hey, Andy, I know he's the man in this area."
Sure.
And so I'd like to, write some songs, and he helped me compose them, arrange them with my ideas, and I recorded these first EP, and I started handing them to my friends, and I said, "Hey, just let me know what you think. This is my first music I've recorded." And one of the first responses I got was "ADABOY," and I wish it was a better story, but it was like
that's awesome.
And so that was one of the first responses of one of my friends who were listening. And so Greg knows who he is, so he knows that he was the initiator.
Yeah.
But as time has went on, and we've come up with, we're now on our 8th version of ADABOY, our lineup over the years. The mission statement of ADABOY is now anyone who has ever overcome adversity, addiction, loss just with life, anybody who's felt that pain, but they've found a way to overcome that. So it seems like ADABOY's more of a mantra for anybody.
Well, all right. Yeah, very well done. Okay, now Andy would you call him the producer of your first EP and maybe your first album?
Most definitely. Yeah, Andy Reid has most definitely was pivotal in like the direction of the sound or the vibe that, where I wanted to, where the music was directed. So he was, I'll never take that away from him. He was, and everybody in the band knows it too. It's like Andy was pivotal, and for a lot of musicians in this area.
Yeah, wow.
He's a great talent. He's a treasure for Bay City.
Oh, he sure is. Okay, well, when we were talking to Andy, he was on the podcast a while ago, and I had mentioned that I had, I guess this is your first T-shirt that I'm wearing right here with the rhinoceros. And I asked Andy, I said, well, what's the significance of the rhinoceros? And he said, I I don't want to tell you what it is. You have to ask Mike Richards about that. So, Mike, we're going to put you on the hot seat here.
Okay.
What's the significance of the rhinoceros?
Okay. I've always been the personality type of seeing what society is doing and automatically going the opposite way. Not for any other reason, of just because just to maybe be different, or to be like, you know what, we hear a lot of people complaining about society, and so maybe society's got it wrong, and it's just we're diving deep, but so I've always like, okay, if we see something that the mass population is buying into, well, maybe if we go a different direction, we're going to be able to show something different than what they've already seen. And so when we released that album, the rhino is the different colors. So it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz with the horse of a different color. You still see the same horse, or the animal, but you're going to get a bunch of different colors in that. And you can't really pigeonhole it as one genre or one style of music. And that's kind of what we've seen a lot of people describe our music as. Like, we're all over the map, and that's why I love, like, we like to write different genres of music within one umbrella. And so instead of using the horse, we used a strong animal like the rhinoceros, because the band has always been kind of masculine men. Like right now we got two guys that are full big beards, and they wear glasses all the time, and that makes for quite an impressive stage presentation with the two bearded guys on either side of you. They call it the Viking storm. and even your drummer had a beard too. I don't know if you have a different drummer now than the one we saw. We have had we did have a lineup change just recently, but but it's still Vincent Modern and Joe Belbaugh. It happened naturally. They just they came in that way, and like, whoa, this is weird. Like, and I've always been a person like, I like symmetry in my life. Like, so I got two bearded guys on each side of me wearing sunglasses. So it just happened naturally. It's not a marketing ploy or anything. Like these. Now, you say you're really not a country band, but you've started to record in Nashville? Yeah, we are. We record in Nashville, and we have a couple friends that Vincent Modern, our lead guitarist, he's already walked that road. He's already been a charted Christian musician, and he's charted, and he has connections all down in Nashville. He basically lives off his royalties from his music. Oh, really? Wow. A band called 6 Day Made. Very good music. So he's kind of, when he heard the music and we were looking for a lead guitarist, he talked to his wife and he says, I think I can help these guys. And so he really is we call him the manifester. And so he was the one that kind of showed us the way. We weren't a business. ADABOY was not a business. We were a band, that was just creating music. We're like, how do we make this like a career? Wow. Did he hear something in what you were writing, Mike? Was that the turn on, or what was his turn on point? Yeah, he wanted to know. We have a couple of music songs called like Shadow Man, which is about my biological father. Wasn't around that much when I was younger, and so I personally write lyrics about personal experiences and how I've been finding my way to overcome, or maybe haven't overcome yet. But we generally try to stick with like a positive message. He wanted to know deeper. And Mark is a real introspective person. I love the man. Probably one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And he wanted to know the stories, and I was like, man, no one's ever asked me about the music. So he's one of the first people to really dive into the lyric side of it. And someone who has went to college for music, I feel like I understand the musicality or the theory side enough to where, like, if you study, there's formulas, that just musicians follow, and you can go outside the box a little bit, but usually there's formulas to create a great song. And so I'm like, well, if the music isn't that important, and everybody just wash, rinse, and repeats the music side of it, well, where's the magic? I think, well, it's the stories, it's the lyrics that the singers are saying. Like that's what sets you apart from just hearing another song.
For you kids at home, there's songwriting 101 from Mike Richards right there. That's on point.
It's observation.
No, that's right on, man.
Observation.
And he's the guy that kind of set you up with people in Nashville. He
Yes.
knew the ropes of Nashville.
Yeah, we started working with this 23-time Grammy Award winner called Joe Baldridge, and he's still on our team right now. We just came back. He is the head engineer instructor for Belmont University down in Nashville, and he runs Ocean Way Recording Studios, which is a very relevant and prominent music studio for a lot of the artists in the country music scene and rock too.
Nashville Ocean Way.
In Nashville, yep, Ocean Way, Nashville, yep.
different.
Because there's different ones.
Yeah, the original one was in California, but when they opened up the one in Nashville, they patterned it.
Yep.
Yeah,
You are
it's
correct.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yep. So we just came back from there, and we became friends with him, and he likes what we do. I mean, this guy has most of the accolades of anybody that we work with, and he's the cheapest.
Oh, well.
And so
That sounds good,
he
right?
tells us he loves what we do. He believes in what ADABOY's doing, and so we've made a friend there.
Yeah, I'm real interested also in your strategy of releasing singles.
Yeah,
And
We're
you're
coached.
doing
We're coached on that.
okay. And what do you mean you're coached? How is
Well,
it?
we are PCG artists, and so it's a PCG is a artist development company down in Nashville, and Bernard Porter is the CEO of this, and we're working with him, and he's kind of coaching us as far as media training. Right? There's such thing as learning how to be able to talk, to people who want to interview and podcasts, and and so we're in training for that. And
Well, he's going right back to the old Berry Gordy formula in the 60s for Motown, would take them right through.
Oh man, we're in school right now for sure.
Yeah,
Because
wow.
we're preparing for success.
And even the fact that you're issuing singles, which, that's kind of like, well, it's the way it used to be done,
Yeah.
but you don't hear that being done now so much that people are releasing singles. At least I didn't realize they were.
Oh man, we're so excited for this next year and a half because people are gonna get new music from us every 6 weeks. Like we're releasing a new song called "New Strings." Early. What is it? Late. I think it's late August. We're gonna release another one, and we just released "Man I Am" June 1st.
Right, yeah, that's the
So-
one you previewed at the Vault, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was really a good concert.
And
it
you're
was
doing
terrific.
them with release shows for each song, right?
We're gonna do our best to probably to put on a show, and then and we want to always bring bands from Michigan that we love and friends of ours to open up to give them up. I'm not saying we have a platform, but like whatever platform that we have, it's gonna be cool to bring some.
Well, you're going to
our
draw
friends.
people, and that gives those other bands exposure.
Yeah.
People are coming to see you. I mean, we came to see you when we went to the Vault.
Appreciate that. Thank
Not to see the opening acts, but it was fun to watch it.
Sure.
So what was I going to ask you here about? Now, are the singles? Obviously, this is going to result in an album.
Yeah.
After a certain period,
Next
how many
year.
how many singles before you're going to put out an album?
12.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 12 songs basically ready to go. We have about 30 some songs written that
Wow.
are not even. We're kind of like putting songs in the bank right now, because all 4 of the guys in this band are writers. They're lead singers in their own right. That's what's crazy about this band. See, remember we talked about society? There's a trend in society where everybody wants to be the single artist, and I think that's wrong. I personally think it's wrong. And society wants us to be about the ego, and so everybody's buying these session artists to play behind them, and then they're the artists. And I know, because I grew up in the 60s and 70s, like listening to that music. I didn't grow up in the 60s and 70s. I grew up listening to 60s and 70s music.
Right.
There was a time where people put their egos to the side and they naturally created these supergroups.
Yeah.
But we got in societal
Communal
ways,
music.
like where I'm stronger with you, not without you. And so ADABOY is the opposite of what you see in the trends right now. Like, we got 4 lead singers who in a lot of ways probably shouldn't be able to operate together, because each one of us could probably do it on our own.
Yeah.
We could find ways to do it on our
Well,
own.
you look back to the Beatles. That's what the Beatles were.
I would
and-
never compare us to the Beatles.
No, but I mean, just
but-
the standpoint that you had 4 singers, and I think history proved that they were much stronger when they worked together than they were when they separated as solo artists, despite the fact they made some good music.
Yeah.
But to my mind, it never had the magic,
That's
the
it.
magic of that collaboration.
Right. And
That's great.
yeah, I think that's the live or die. That's the path that we want to take. We want to say, and we publicly talk about rejecting our ego on purpose, just because we know that it can creep. I mean, we know the guys have egos. Like, we all of us operate with some level of ego.
Oh, sure.
But I'm doing my best to reject it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then we talk about it within the band, like, we're operating within our ego, all right?
It's a standpoint at rehearsals and stuff, when it's a joke thing, kind of like, hey, hey, catch
Right.
each other up.
Oh, yeah, and
like, hey.
when we rehearse and when we get together, it is such a cool vibe, because we all know the expectation, and we all keep each other honest. Like, everything's on the table. Like, nothing, no one's afraid to say something because we're afraid to bruise somebody's ego. Because we always say it's about the song. So if I come up with this riff or this melodic line, and Joe instantly riffs off it and says, "Oh, why don't you resolve it down instead of up and on the last part of the phrase?" It's to me, that's like it's about the song. How can we create the best music, the best arrangement? And I'm not saying that we're creating the best music, but I think that's
Your road to it is the best you can give it.
It's a good, exactly. I think it's the best way to be able to diplomatically, create music and get 4 heads all into like the one idea. So I know that not a lot of bands operate like that in today's world.
Yeah.
It's like you get 4 or 5 songwriters in Nashville. They all come in, they write the song. Here's the structure. Here's the number system, and they just run that 1, 4, 5 chord progression, and then they hire these great musicians to come in, and they lay it down in the studio in a half an hour, and there's the song.
Yeah.
But talking to these engineers like at Ocean Way, they say, well, it's like there's not a lot of heart in the music. So,
It's very, and I've heard Andy use this term, fellows that we do studio stuff with, but very gridded out music on the grid. Everything sounds grid. You turn on 102.5, you turn on 96 FM, you can hear the immediate grid of every song. There's no longer a sway, a swing, a vibe. Sure. It's all about whatever's getting rammed down that middle for that chorus there, and everything's gridded right out and perfect timing and everything.
We're not trying to become pop sensations. We're trying to do it the grassroots way. Like, we're a family-owned business.
Yeah,
so,
you LLC. Speak of that.
Yeah,
right. I was curious about that too.
My wife owns the ADABOY Official Merchandising LLC. This is the side that Vincent Modern's really helped us out. Like,
okay, when you say LLC, what does that stand for? Limited
liability compensation
company or
corporation. Thank you. Yep, corporation. And I own the ADABOY Official LLC. And basically what it does is just it allows us to use the small business platform. Like, if man, this is crazy. My viewpoint this last year has completely changed about how I view music nowadays. Like, music, the actual music, in my opinion, this is crazy. has nothing to do with the music business. Because like there's artists out there who build their business on wild platforms, whether it be the women using their sexuality as their platform,
the show over the music,
the people using the devil as their platform, and that's their business model.
Yeah,
there is no way I could go through my life and build a business on something demonic or dark, or we're ADABOY's about love and lifting
shock
people
value.
up.
You don't want that shock value anymore. You just want to write music.
And that
that shock thing never seems to work, because if that's what
flash in the pan.
Well,
I'm not trying to be,
because if you shock, then they're expected to be shocked every time. So you're constantly trying to shock, and that just seems like a
straight to the heart.
Never works.
That's wild, man. I love how you talk about that, because it is such a relatively minor bit that people overlook so much nowadays, that it's always about the show, which is before the music now. It's about how much you build up for it, and it comes down right to that shock value of how we can draw people in, rather than let's bring our music to the people and let people celebrate the music together,
right.
From the way it used to be, in a sense, too.
Yeah, I like
a lot of things used to be.
I personally, I'm only 43 years old, but I like it how it used to be.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You seem to have a real good connection with the Vault, which is just an absolutely great music venue.
Bill's been
I mean, man, oh man, the professional lighting and the sound in there is just wonderful. Are you going to continue to release your singles in kind of the same way that you did in June, and use the Vault as your launching pad, so to speak?
Personally, I would love to see us back at the Vault. Bill's been amazing. I don't think that we're open to going to different places. I follow Bay City News because I'm a Bay City resident, and so I just heard that the state accepted an offer,
right,
and it's going to be turned into more. Back to what it was, like a live music venue, right?
Yeah,
but it might change the way it looks. I would love to come downtown Bay City and say, I want Bay City to be proud of ADABOY. Like, so we're one of the bands that is from this area.
Sure.
And so we want to make sure that we give our flowers to the area that we live in.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yeah.
When you say singles release, are they on CD or 45s?
Yeah. Well, man, we're working on the 45s. Yeah,
Okay.
they're coming. We do have CDs. We do have flash drives. We've had a lot of people tell us that people aren't listening to CDs as much, but we really sell a lot of CDs still.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're as outdated as a lot of people think.
The problem with CDs is you can't play them in your car anymore.
Right. CD players are
Yeah.
not.
That's
true.
the big issue
That's
there
true.
with
So
CDs.
it's mainly a digital thing,
Yeah.
like Bandcamp or something like that,
Yeah.
where you can.
Yeah, we're all on. We're distributed on all media platforms. We're everywhere, I think. But we also have CDs and we have flash drives. So if people, if you got USBs for the new cars,
Right.
you can just throw it right in there.
And when you say 45, you're not talking about the vinyl with the big hole in the middle, like the old 45s, right, from the 1960s.
Right. No,
Because I don't think hardly anybody's got those
not
players
too
anymore.
many of those. Yeah, we're gonna definitely do vinyl. Like that's
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
A long, dream of ours.
Right.
That's awesome. Now, speaking of CDs, Freddie, you have more than just the recent stuff. Go back a little bit and tell us about the albums throughout the years.
Sure. Well,
And you can get these all still, right?
yeah, you can. We have SoundCloud of like some very, very old music. It was some of the first recordings that we did with Andy Reid.
Oh,
The ADABOY ones, like when it became Hey ADABOY, when he told you that,
Yeah.
the original ones. And
Yep,
then,
those are still online.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Are
old
you
stuff.
going to get into places like Apple Music and Spotify and so on?
We're there.
Really?
Yeah, we are there. We're literally on all multimedia platforms.
Everything is on Apple Music, or just some more recent stuff?
The older stuff is on SoundCloud,
Okay.
and it's basically SoundCloud for the older stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but everything else from the 2019 album to we had older versions of ADABOY, different versions like from 10 years ago. So yeah, it's been.
Wow, I'm going to have to dig into that. I just, I'm one of the holdouts. I always had CDs and albums and 45s, and the idea of subscribing to something like Spotify or Apple, it just didn't sound to me like it would be something I would like. But I did it, and now I can't believe, the resource you have doing that, and all the artists that are there. I mean, just tonight, I didn't think that you would be on there, and you're on there. You have a presence there as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, you
They
use
don't pay the
DistroKid?
artists much.
We use DistroKid.
Yeah, I say DistroKid.
I know.
Puts
but
us
what
all
I'm
on
just
those
saying is,
platforms,
yeah.
they're. What do you do? I mean,
We've had this on other podcasts, but
Yeah.
DistroKid is our thing that gets us all on the Apple. I mean, every one of us are on there
Yeah,
now
to get
because
rid
that,
of the allure of it,
Yeah.
just to straight up say you can have your song mixed and mastered, ready to go, and it's just almost like a Facebook account. You create and you use your email, you create your account, and then you upload it, and then they do all the work to distribute it to all of the platforms.
It's beautiful.
So it's pretty actually easy
is.
when you dig into it.
Yeah, well, you like Fred said, you probably don't make that much money, maybe doing it that way, but yet you get exposure. That
No.
Yeah.
We don't make any money from our online sales.
No.
Yeah.
The only one that would serve is the Bandcamp one. You're getting 88 to 89%, unless it's Bandcamp Friday,
Right.
then you get 100%. Other than that, you're getting a portion of a penny for every song. A portion of a penny. So sometimes Spotify can add up to about a $15 a quarter check for some people. You know what I mean?
But how much is what's available on Bandcamp?
Whatever you
Everything?
put on it. Bandcamp's a personable one. Like that's what you can put on there.
Yeah, but I mean,
Not everybody's on it. no.
Yeah, you're not going to find David Bowie and Tom Petty and all these people on Bandcamp, right?
There is now. They're starting to use them because there's bands like Sonic Youth that are putting out all their archives on it because they're
Okay.
taking back all their money. They're getting a direct funding for it rather than put it on the other thing. So it's if you have that access to that app, I mean, it makes it real easy. It's just like buying any other kind of music or streaming any other music, but it's way more
Artist friendly.
artist friendly and
For sure.
pocketable
Okay.
for us to get.
Yeah.
That's why almost all the artists that are
I've seen you
independent.
promote it
Dude,
quite a bit.
It's
Yeah.
a huge thing. I mean,
Yeah, we need
Andy
to
and
look
I
into
had to
that.
talk about that years ago. How and I got the pro friends that I know. They start their Bandcamp for a month or two. Here's a great example: Larry McRae, all his digital now only on Bandcamp. He gets it all in his pocket,
Really?
and then eventually he'll put it all out on the rest of them. Where he's
Well,
gonna
it's
barely
quite a bit of it is on Apple Music right now, though.
right, but he gets a better fee.
Yeah.
if you use
Well, I'm
Bandcamp.
just saying
Yeah.
that
Right.
it's there too.
Yep.
Yeah, but we don't expect to make hardly any money on our
Digital.
on our digital. It's we live and die by our merchandise.
And
so-
shows.
And it shows where we get
Yeah.
paid for performance, and then
Yeah.
what our swag that swag
Yeah.
that people
There you go.
purchase. So.
Was it a choice by you to not put the old stuff out on DistroKid, or is that the PM? Was it PMG or
Yeah, PCG.
PCG?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, we are being produced.
That's why I wondered if it.
Yeah, and so
They said
it's
pocket the old
such
stuff
a-
and.
let's kind of start afresh.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
A lot of people go through that when they sign on to groupings.
Yeah.
Everything old has to kind of get hidden away a little bit.
Yeah, we're kind of like starting over a little bit because the music is such a drastic difference as far as
For sure.
production
For sure.
and the studios that we're recording on. We this last time we just came back from Nashville. I was taking pictures of all the mics that they had on us, and it was over $500,000 of microphones that was in our room. It was, and we're just like, wow. Like Bon Jovi just got done recording there. They use his tea, that he uses before he was ran his vocal lines.
Yeah.
He would drink this tea before he would go and record his vocals. And I'm just like, so all of us were drinking this tea, like this is Bon Jovi's custom tea. It was a pretty cool experience. Yeah, pretty cool.
Do you book blocks in Nashville? Is that how you do it?
We do 2 days.
Just 2 days when
2
you go
days,
there?
Yeah.
And it's a block of 2 days here and then go back down 2 days there.
Yeah.
and- Okay.
Yeah. And so we were down there we recorded 5 songs in 2 days.
Yeah.
But our pre-production is, we're really like working on our pre-production before we even leave.
You don't
Right,
want us-
and
We're not learning anything new.
Yeah.
You're not walking in the
You're
studio to
very
create-
well rehearsed before you
very
go
well
in there.
rehearsed
Yeah,
as
okay.
best we can. But we have music teachers in the group,
Right.
and so we know how to rehearse. Like we know how to like dig into the nitty gritties of a song, and we can break out if one person's singing the wrong note, we can hear it and we can actually fix it. Because that's what Joe's went to music education. I have a degree in music education, but the other guys in the bands are they're outstanding musicians.
Well, the latest review awards, you
that
guys,
was fun.
you guys kicked some
Holy
ass there.
moly.
Nine awards, and you won what? Best
12 awards actually.
awards. Okay, best rock band, best alternative band, best original band, best variety band. Yeah, I mean, man, you were smoking.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. And Bob Martin has been following us basically the whole time that I've been a musician. He's helped us. He's helped us put stuff out, interviewed us several times. He's probably one of the media people who have seen all of the versions of ADABOY over the years. And so it was pretty cool for him to be able to speak on it at the awards. And and it's we're very humbled. That was very unexpected.
Yeah.
We're like, it's great to be recognized. We love playing the review awards because it's just a celebration of the Tri-City musicians and
yeah,
music
exactly.
scene. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was pretty cool though.
No, it was great. And you guys got to had your single release like right around that time, coming right up after that.
Yeah, we've been picking it up.
Was that June 1st? I think?
June 1st?
Yeah, June 1st was the vault
Yeah.
performance.
I mean, everything's laid right out nice. You guys don't play a ton of gigs though either. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say we're not.
It's not like you're traveling and touring or anything.
Not yet, but so I guess I can talk about this.
Yeah.
We got the number for one of Hall & Oates' original managers when we were down there last time, and so we're playing phone tag with him right now. But we are on the verge of getting some management, which means that our schedule could pick
Bolster.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
we
some
only played
opening
14 shows last year. If you go on our website, ADABOYmusic.com, you can see our whole schedule, and we're over, I think we're close to 40 shows this year. So we're playing a lot in Bay City and Midland.
Hometown. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, you are a Bay City band, so
we want to have
you
a
play here.
presence. Yeah. Midland Street is booming big time.
Oh yeah, that's
Did
kind
you
of
guys-
making a comeback.
Did you guys play in Nashville while you were down there at all? Or
The first time we played at, we actually got to play at the Electric Jane. That's where we performed for Pam Tillis.
okay.
So yeah, Pam Tillis is she knows who we are, and she's a friend of ours.
It's way back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah,
I remember the photo. you put
Oh,
up
that was so cool to meet her. And so we got to perform 3 of our tunes, and then for a panel and her.
Uh-huh.
And she put off one of her interviews at ABC to stick around to make sure she caught us.
Oh, man.
So she said we the quote probably. She says we sing like Alabama, we look like ZZ Top, and that's a winning combination.
Yeah, there you go.
So that was pretty cool. A couple
Yeah.
Michigan guys.
Yeah. Well, you guys do some covers too.
We do.
And I was real surprised because one of my kind of offbeat favorite songs from the 70s was Thunder Island by Jay Ferguson.
Yeah, a little rock.
I was a big fan of Spirit.
Okay.
And of course he played in Spirit for years. And
Okay.
so I mean, it was so unexpected to hear you guys play that.
Yeah, we try to throw some curveballs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys get? Were you playing that when Andy Reid recorded that? Because he has a version that he put out that was awesome on a national release. of
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
No,
That was in maybe 10 years ago.
Did I know
Yeah.
that? I don't even
It's
know
awesome.
if I knew
have
that.
the vinyl of it. Andy's got a kick.
Did he put it out on an album?
Yeah, it's like
One
a
of his-
compilation when he was in the Haskell, or not the Haskells, but the Legal Matters.
Oh,
And
okay.
gosh.
He's saying he got to do Thunder Island for something.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
That's legit.
It's so good.
And your reaction is pretty common because people will literally, if they're talking, usually it's like, what?
It's
they'll
great
turn
tune.
around and do some yacht rock, which is not really a genre that we play a lot, but it's pretty recognizable.
Well, it's a catchy song. It's a great tune, a great radio song. I mean, I always loved it. I didn't have the album, but I remember I used to love, turn up the radio or in the car when Thunder Island came on.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
Great tune. Yeah, we spent this past winter. We added about 40 some cover songs. To get to actually talk about the business side of it, we're an original band, and we want to live and die by that. But we realized that to pay for these endeavors down in Nashville, it costs a lot of money. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
And so we decided, like, okay, let's bite the bullet. Joe Bellball plays cover shows all around the Tri-Cities all the time. And has been for years. And so we picked a lot of the tunes that he knew, and it was easy for us, the band, just to pick up. And then we said, okay, well, we're gonna play cover shows, but we're gonna play all of our originals inside of that too.
Yeah.
And so when we're playing 4-hour shows, you're gonna hear all of our originals plus a mixture of covers, and for better or worse, we're getting paid a lot more.
Yeah.
And so we're using all that money. This is the business side of it, to pay for everything that we do down in Nashville.
That goes back to the LLC, right?
And it goes back to the LLC.
Now, at one point, when you first were establishing your band, I remember everybody was talking about how you were holding everybody on. You told me, I think. You were like, I'm paying my guys to stick around, so I have guys there to do stuff.
That's true.
That was just pre-LLC, right? You were like, I'm going to put you on what was it called? The waiver or something.
Retainer.
Retainer, that's the name.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that at White's one time. I'm like, whoa, that's a whole other world, man.
Man, I want it so bad.
Yeah.
I've wanted it so bad because I felt like this was like my biggest platform. Like teaching, it's been super. It's blessed me a lot, and it's allowed me to, to share my love of music with kids who might not otherwise get like my passion, and so I'm sharing it. But there's something in you as a musician. It's kind of like you have to feed that desire. I feel like it's a platform that I can't ever miss. I'm like, well, if I'm going to be a teacher, an educator, I need to lead by example.
That was a great quote.
I need to lead by example. And the best way, even if I don't become a teacher for the rest of my life, I'm not going to retire a teacher. At least the kids in this Bay City area will say, oh, I had Mr. Richards. And, look at him. He's a professional musician now. It might be, to me, that's the best way to lead by example, to show the people in this area, that
it can be done.
It does. You don't have to be anywhere.
I love that quote.
Anywhere.
When you told me that years ago, I'm like, dude, that's so honorable. Like, people miss that.
Thanks, man.
It's just great.
I feel like it's the only way that I know how to do it.
Yeah, man. I love that.
And there's teachers. I'm just gonna be honest. There's a lot of teachers who that's their job, that's their career. They're gonna retire that way, and it's an honorable career, and it's probably one of the most important jobs that anybody can have. But there is an element of just like any job, you get complacent, right? And I complacency is something that scares the hell out of me. I can't live there.
Right.
Like if I feel like my life's not moving forward even just a little bit, I start freaking out. And so I got to keep things moving forward.
That's
and
awesome.
So it's
Who designs your T-shirts?
Jay Burke. He has been our main designer.
Former bassist in Negative Earth.
Yeah. Oh, that's before I knew him. So
back in my day.
Okay. Yeah, Jay Burke. He works for Chaos Graphics.
Okay.
Great company, great guys. We love them. But yeah, Jay Burke has been working with us, and he's been our main designer from the beginning.
So Jay designed this T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. I get a lot of compliments on this T-shirt.
Yeah.
People, I like your Rhino T-shirt.
That's awesome. I can get you guys some T-shirts. I got them in in the van.
Ooh.
So if you want some fresh dubs,
Yeah, certainly.
awesome.
Sweet.
I know Lynn was bemoaning the fact she didn't have an Attaboy t-shirt.
Oh yeah,
today.
we'll make sure you get one before I leave for sure. Yeah, yeah. We appreciate you having me on, and yeah, this is awesome. And the museum and the Michigan Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to have it here in Bay City, that's not a little thing.
It's a cool thing for the museum, definitely, and it's great for Bay City too. I think kind of puts us on the map to a certain extent.
Yeah, yeah. It's Bay City. I tell you what, I love Bay City so much. I mean, I'm from Vassar Reese area, but just to see this town blossoming the way it is.
It is. It's
culture,
cool. Yeah,
and it's
it's got a lot of good things going for it, and yet. It offers a lot of things, but it's still kind of like the small town.
Yep.
It's not overwhelming
Which
like
is
you're
perfect.
going into a lot of bigger cities, and
Yeah.
So it's a good place.
Outstanding town. I love it here.
Yeah,
I love the fact too that your music it doesn't always stay the same. You do a lot of different things, and I think it speaks for itself how you've written. You don't just write rock songs. You write a little bit of everything. You don't have one style.
Yeah.
And I think that was. I know you started the show kind of saying we it's not an ego thing. We want to do a little bit of everything, but people need to hear your music to understand that. And it's pretty cool how you're releasing these songs now and everything.
Right.
So many different flavors of Attaboy are out there, and you can't pigeonhole that.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I know it's not a popular trend, but if you like reggae, you're gonna find some reggae and some Sting type music in our song. But if you like soft rock, you're gonna find a 6/8 song that's gonna be slow dancing, and like we say it live in our shows, like Attaboy's on a mission to bring back the slow dance.
yeah.
All
right.
And so we just played Friday Night Live in Saginaw, open up for the Billy Joel tribute group.
Okay.
I tell you what, people, I think they're really looking for that because they
I
don't.
think so too.
They're really looking for it, and they don't see bands that are like, we want to harbor that.
I tell you, if you go back on our podcast, and this is something I learned from these guys, everything started as a dance back then. Before the show bands, before everything, it was a dance, and everybody danced the music. It wasn't the cell phone, the selfies. I mean, I'm always catching up older acts going, "You got any pictures?" And they're always like, "Dude, nobody thought of that back then."
No,
it was
brought
all
a camera to anything you were doing.
And it's everybody came to dance and to mingle,
Yep.
and that kind of went by the wayside for the popular radio hit, popular radio channel, and now put on a show rather than a concert.
Yeah.
And that's cool. You're bringing that back, man.
Yeah. I told the people, like, if you're here with some loved ones, or we're all friends here, so even if you have someone next to you, stand up where you're at or come to the dance floor. And literally we saw probably maybe 100 people in Saginaw stand up, and the gentlemen, like they used to, put out your hand.
Wow.
You grab your wife's hand, you pick her up, you hold. I mean, it's some things just can't go away.
Well,
it's just because
you hope not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think bringing back that personability to music or a show, and not have just the way music is nowadays. It's a marketing rather, like you brought up. It's just so cool when the music comes around as a more of a personable thing. That's why people listened in originally.
Well,
Touches your heart.
I think going back to your idea of bringing back slow dancing is, for young people, I mean, dancing was a very important kind of a social interaction. Where you're dancing with a girl.
Yeah.
When you're 13 or 14 years old,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
your head is swimming.
Yeah, 100%.
You're that close to somebody.
yeah, you're
that
laying
you
some
like,
hard pillars, some good,
Yo,
big
no
foundations
kidding.
right there.
Yeah, and I feel bad a lot for kids that don't have that. Like that whole teen club thing that Luana Levasseur painted on the wall. That whole thing was all about dancing. That, I mean, there were a lot of kids that didn't dance
Right.
too, but there
Yeah,
was. There was
Some
always
people
that.
walked in the
Yeah,
circle
Right,
around. And,
but it was all socializing. You were
yeah.
socializing. Talking to other people, even if you weren't dancing. And
My
yeah.
twins went to their first dance there at the end of 8th grade here at Kramer. And
Yeah.
it was like, I said, how'd it go? They're like, well, next to nobody danced, but there was a few.
Yeah.
And and it's like, and it always kind of starts like that. I think even with the dancing people, but it's like eventually it's a thing
it's
to do.
hard, because of your
Shy.
shyness. But I think the other thing is, back in those days, everybody listened to AM radio, and you had that commonality in the music, and that is gone today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, I don't know if you could bring a bunch of teens, what would you play? I mean, because they're all over the map. There's so many different styles of music, and but
It's
back in the
it's
old
different.
top 40 days, there was always slow songs.
Yeah.
And there were fast songs, and
Yeah.
Do you think a teen club would happen
it
today?
won't work because of the commonality of music. That our door tried to do that club back. I'm trying to think how many years ago that was. It was where Vino's was.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was a drugstore at
Oh, yeah,
one
the
time.
pharmacy
And
and
the
the,
pharmacy.
yeah.
In fact, it might have been called the pharmacy. I don't know.
The pharmacy.
But they tried that with kids. It lasted 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because
Fred,
it just
You got a point there, though. I think it's what goes around comes around, and if there is that going on, it's going to be somebody's basement. It's going to be the next big booming thing, and all of a sudden it becomes to a little hall,
Right.
old Jamestown Hall. All of a sudden there's a dancer. It could viably come around if someone started it up,
Yeah.
But now you got this all day long, and
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody on their
I
phone.
was coming down. Well, you know where I live,
Yeah.
and coming through Essexville on what is it at that Hampton or Woodside?
Well, it turns into Woodside. Once you get
where
past
there,
the
it
light.
looks like before the bakery, the pastry bakery or whatever
Pettifor.
it's called.
Pettifor.
yeah.
There's a new club or something.
Oh, really?
And I came by it after a podcast one night, or somewhere I was, and it said, "Punk music dance tonight."
Wow.
It was Jonathan Asel's band. They were having an indie show there. And it was in
really?
that boxing place. There's a boxing place in the old LeBrens.
It's a boxing.
It's a
place?
boxing place.
It- it's where LeBren's Pharmacy
yeah,
was?
and they had a show in there with three or four bands. I
okay.
think Jonathan Asel spearheaded that.
Because there was a lot of cars there.
Going back to our second or third episode, Gary Asel, that's his grandson,
Yeah,
his band there. But yeah, they had a big turnout for an indie show there.
but there won't be any dancing.
I don't know about the dancing part, but
No,
Yeah.
I can tell you, no, because that kind of music just isn't conducive
Right,
to
I
dancing. Really.
guess.
Well, young kids, they haven't really learned about 6/8 yet.
how to swing.
4/4 or 2/4.
Yeah, there's it.
Or the
You're
waltz.
leading the charge.
Yeah.
It may happen.
Yeah. We have several. I'd say we have 3, maybe 4 songs that are in 6/8,
Yeah.
and so we want people to feel that pendulum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about listening to oldies music is because you have all those danceable songs.
Yeah.
See,
the
we
50s and
had
60s.
we got to learn how to dance in 6th grade.
Us too. I think our first dances were in 6th or 7th grade.
with a girl, slow dancing.
Oh,
and
you had where you learned
box
it.
step.
Dance class. Yeah.
6th grade.
When you write music like that, Mike, do you guys purposely say this next tune's going to be in this time signature, or how does that flow?
It is. I mean, yeah. We'll
Because
come
you're a
up with
bunch of
an
teachers,
idea.
it could be very. We're going to do a 6/8 song here, guys. Okay, or
we
you just
could.
come to it and you present your song and everybody kind of
Well,
takes it.
me personally, the way I write is I come up with like the chord progressions either on the piano or the guitar, and I have gibberish. Like I'll sing the melody through gibberish. So I'll mnemonic devices, and sometimes words will come out because I'll just use like a rhyming phrase. But then I'm recording this, and so on my phone I use my voice recorder, and I have hundreds of song ideas and like little bits. I have my wife, if I'm driving, we're safe. I hand her my phone. I'm like, sorry, honey.
I feel it coming in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, driving is
Yeah.
the best time for
Driving.
me to write when I'm driving.
Oh, we have a song called "Move,"
Yeah.
and it's our closer in our show. And I had a Harley Davidson at the time when I was a band director out at Vassar, and I'd have to drive that strip from Bay City to Vassar
Yeah.
every morning.
13
13,
or 15. That's 15.
50. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
13 is the other part that way heading up north. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But the wind was strong one morning, and I almost got blown off the road. and I thought I was dead. I thought, this is it. And I was able to correct and stay on. And I literally wrote the song Move, like in my head, inside my helmet. I'm like, don't worry about the wind they're blowing. It's only meant to push you off course. The wind stronger than the mind will tear you apart.
Wow, cool, man.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how...
And so, yeah, when you take your mind away from something and you're concentrating, that feels like it opens your...
So many people write while they're driving. I'm definitely... I have... Everything's hit record and do it at the next stoplight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Scott pumps out the songs too.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely where it comes. So it's getting your mind turned off from the everyday stuff, you know.
Yep.
I love what you've done, bro. I mean, Mike and I go
Thanks, Scott.
as far back as he started. Due to the Reed recording, a lot of it. Andy's initial recording stuff, I was one of the first musicians to come in and get an album mixed. I didn't record with him. I did vocals there, but he's like, here's this, and here's ADABOY, or Mike. Here's Mike, and I get to do Mike before ADABOY, you know, and this and this. So I'm getting taste testing all this material that Andy did, and we got to watch Mike just, and it's like, it's so cool to have that around here. And the cool thing for me was when I've interviewed you over the years or talked to you, teaching and giving the students what you have is on par with your performances. So it's a huge thing for people to witness from a human being saying, look, I'm not just a performer and a musician, but I'm a teacher. And I love that, man.
Thanks,
that
bro.
Super
Thanks,
cool,
man.
man.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I teach in the classroom, kind of bringing to the public now.
Yep.
Like, you know, as a teacher, like I've been teaching 13 years now, and you realize like you're trying to, you know, because every kid, when you're a teacher, you see every walk of life in your classroom. It's a true melting pot.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like the truest melting pot I've ever seen, you know, in my life. And you get kids that are, you know, parents that have really high structure and they haven't experienced a lot of adversity, and they come in thinking like, life is, you know, you can see it in their eyes. But then you have kids that they're wearing their pajamas to school every single day. And when you see life like that, you realize that your message and who you're trying to lift up isn't necessarily the children. So
Yeah.
it's not the kids that I'm trying to get to.
I'm dead.
It's the society.
Yeah.
It's the adults.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm a huge dog lover, and I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as a bad kid. There's no such thing as a bad dog. They are just mirrors. They're just mirrors and products of their environment. And environments can be changed over time, and humans can change. And so I'm a firm believer that, like,
Love that, man.
it doesn't matter. You could be the worst kid. You could be angry coming in and fighting kids every single day, but there's still an opportunity for that kid to
Change.
to change.
Yeah.
Gary was our prime example. He taught for years, way before. And he was one of my teachers growing up.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
he did not just that, he did basketball, and then he did the music stuff. Then he was teaching music. And now,
Cool.
look at, he put that together with the museum.
It's
I
outstanding.
mean, everything was a growth pattern, and he can tell these stories like you can. It's like,
Yeah.
this is
Well,
a great conversation with
And
you.
Lynn was a teacher as well.
Oh, I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. That's very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, and I don't know if I'm right, but I feel like it's a road that seems right for me. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I got to be
Well,
honest.
I as a former teacher, or I guess I'm still a teacher. I'm never really retired. But, you know, it's good to hear from somebody as inspired as you are in the profession.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
I
Need
know
more
I
people like you.
I can be intense sometimes, but
Well, that's
I
right.
care a lot.
Intense in the right way is
I
good.
care a lot.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, that's
Maybe it's too much sometimes, to a fault.
This is great, man. What a great show. I thank you, Mike, for coming on
Oh, yeah, it
and
was
bringing us
awesome.
all your stories. There's
it.
so much music out there. Is there a website people can actually go to that you would like them to be guided to?
Yeah. ADABOYmusic.com. We spell it ADABOY.
That's right. I should make that clear, right?
Yeah, we
You know,
spell it
how
differently.
it's spelled, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and if they go there, they
ADABOY.
can get to all your links. They can get to the
It's,
SoundCloud for the old stuff on there.
We do not have our SoundCloud link
Okay.
on our website.
Okay. You
but,
stay kind of hidden. That's kind of hidden away.
yeah,
Stuff.
but you can still our thumbnail or
Mhm.
our tag our handle is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's we made it all universal, so it's ADABOY music.
That's how Scott Baker music is.
Yeah,
it's like you go one, you get them all.
Yep. So you don't change your handle on any of your socials. Once you pick one, you just make that the same one for all your social medias.
Right on. I learned that too, man. That's cool. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
thank you,
great.
guys. Thank you.
Outstanding.
Appreciate your time.
Oh, man. And that concludes episode 1 with Mike Richards of ADABOY. We want to let the listeners know that we're going to do a part 2 that is updated within the last year and with current information, so you can get a full layout of what Mike has done over the past year with ADABOY, where he's taken the band, what his plans are in the future, and to see how the connection has been made from last year to this year and all the advancements ADABOY has done with their music, including winning more review awards over the past year and the review awards again. We want to thank Mike for coming on the show, and want to thank the band for their music, and we look forward to giving you listeners part 2 so you can see a clear definition of what ADABOY has been doing with their current music from it was proposed a year ago till right now, including the Detroit Lions theme that they've recently recorded called Uncaged. So we'll be back with that episode here in 2 weeks. Thank you all for listening here in the MMHP and the 989.
On behalf of our hosts, we would like to thank the Michigan Rock Legends Hall of Fame, our guests, and especially our listeners. The MMHP is found on the 989 network, as well as all familiar podcast hubs. Up-to-the-minute information, as well as Dr. J and Sir Fred's Michigan Music Songs of the Week, can be found on the MMHP's Facebook page, /MMHP989. You can connect with Scott at scottbakermusic.com, Dr. J at michiganrockandrolllegends.com, Sir Fred at fredrife.com, and Mr. Mike on YouTube as MRBTEE1.
And on behalf of Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and myself, Scott Baker,